The well-made play was originated by Eugène Scribe, who over the course of his prolific career gradually perfected the genre. Through his work in drama, he produced over 420 dramatic works, making him one of the most popular playwrights in France. Originating in France as the pièce bien faite, the well-made play is a style of dramatic writing characterized by a meticulously and methodically thought-out plot of the story at hand. There are a number of conventions that follow a precise construction of the well-made play. The plot is typically based on a secret known to the audience, but unknown to the characters. The climax is the unveiling of this secret, which flips the fortunes of the hero and the protagonist on its head. According to Scribe, during the course of the play, the overall pattern of the drama is reflected in the movement of the individual acts, in which a steadily mounting suspense is achieved through the battle of wits between hero and villain. The hero's fortune fluctuates during his conflict with the adversary until finally at the climax the secret is revealed in an obligatory scene, the scène à faire, and the hero is benefited in the final dénouement or resolution. The most notable playwright that Scribe has probably influenced extends to Henrik Ibsen, who directed numerous Scribian works before moving on to produce his own dramatic works. In his work's inception, they clearly depict Scribe's influence, while his later works adapt the well-made play and couple it with symbolism. The well-made play exerted an immeasurable influence in the history of theatre well into the 20th century, shaping the nature of drama in a variety of movements, including realism, naturalism, and symbolism.
The Doll's House breaks from traditional aspects and elements of Scribnian drama in that the first act still offered an exposition, the second a situation, but the third left a discussion, an rally for discussion, which left the audience uncertain about how the events would conclude. Also, Ibsen's realist drama disregarded the tradition of featuring an older male moral figure. Dr. Ink, the character who should serve this role, is far from positive moral force. Instead, he's not only sickly, rotting disease picked up from his father's early sexual exploits, but he's openly courting Nora. The fact that he's imperfect wasn't common at the time. Ibsen is portrayed or hailed as the father of modern theater because his plays contain various political, religious, and historical message, and trying to incorporate prose into his plays. Shakespeare's work, he incorporated social and psychological problems as well. He incorporated many thoughts and ideals of Voltaire into his dramas, irony, vicious satire, and exaggerated elements to get the audience to question their own prejudices. He questioned such matters as love, religion, and morality. And what made his plays so controversial were the radical positions that Ibsen held on certain issues like women's rights, war, and the upper class. Ibsen made his plays different from previous romantic theater plays in two ways. The first being indirectly in the form of stage directions and notes on the casts and the plays he wrote. They're very stylized and very meticulous notes on costumes and lighting and scenographic solutions. Secondly was directly in that Ibsen formulated his dramatic vision in black and white in extensive correspondence with theater directors, stage directors, and the actors. Ibsen also placed great weight on minor roles in crowd scenes. A more obvious importance of Doll's House is the feminist message that rocked the stages of Europe when the play premiered. Nora's rejection of marriage and motherhood was totally different from contemporary audiences. The revolutionary spirit, and the emergence of modernism influenced Ibsen's choice to focus on an unlikely hero, a housewife, in his attack on middle-class values.
Romanticism is a literary, artistic, and philosophical movement originating from the 18th century. It emphasizes the romantic, decadent, and emotional side of theatre. Ibsen started out as a romanticist playwright, however, A Doll's House uses far more realism and naturalistic techniques. A Doll's House is often seen as a work of social realism. This realism is played out through three main themes in the play. These are identity, social expectation, and gender roles. Ibsen portrays identity realism as Nora decides in Act 3 that she must stand quite alone rather than living in Torvald's dollhouse. Ibsen uses realism to describe societal expectations and gender roles by showing how dominant the male is in a marriage and in conventional relationships of the time. When Nora fails to conform to these expectations, she is shunned from society. The use of mainly dialogue and everyday language adds to the realistic nature of the play. This is in contrast to some of the more melodramatic romantic plays of the time. These included far more over-the-top emotions and very clear relationships that conformed to social structures. Naturalism is a sister of realism. It is a type of realism that emphasizes the more sordid and pessimistic aspects of life. The naturalistic side of the play is what makes it a problem play. A problem play is a drama that exposes a specific social problem. Ibsen wanted to address the life, concerns, and experiences of ordinary middle-class citizens who were gaining control across Europe in this time period. The woman's role in society is part of the naturalistic aspect of the play, as we see in Act 3. Nora makes many comments on social structure and how women struggle to find their own identity within the current structure. These naturalistic aspects of the play are what made it so controversial at the time, as Ibsen was questioning fairly institutionalized social structures.